In this world, rockets didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were made in the past and have changed over time to meet people's needs. Since 1232, they have been there. In today's video, we'll talk about the top 10 most powerful rocket engines of all time. But before starting the countdown, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. Number 10. KVD-1. The Russian ISAV Design Bureau made the KVD-1 engine in the early 1960s. It was an upper-stage cryogenic engine. On April 20, 2001, it took its first flight. It has been changed from RD-56. Even though it stopped working on December 25, 2010, it had a thrust of 69.6 kN in vacuum. Number 9. LE-7. This engine was made in Japan, where almost all of the design and production work was done. It was made by Mitsubishi Heavy Industry and JXA. This bad boy could put out 1,078 kN of force in a vacuum and 843.5 kN at sea level, approximately 1,714 kilograms. It had enough thrust for the H-2, but it was replaced by the LE-7A, which was more advanced and better. Number 8. RD-253. The RD-253 is a rocket engine that uses liquid fuel. It was made by Energomash and V. Glushko, made of proton PM. It could push with 1,630 kN in a vacuum and 1,470 kN at sea level. It weighs about 1080 kilograms and was good enough to fly for the first time in 1965. The RD-254, RD-256, RD-275, and RD-275M came after it. Number 7. Rocketdyne F1. Rocketdyne in the United States made the F1 rocket engine in the late 1950s. In the 1960s and early 1970s, it was used in the Saturn V rocket. Each Saturn V launch, which was the main launch vehicle for the Apollo program, used 5 F1 engines in the first stage of the SIC. It weighed about 8,400 kilograms and had a thrust force of 7,700 kN in a vacuum and 6,770 kN at sea level. The F1 is still the most powerful liquid propellant rocket engine with a single combustion chamber. Number 6. RS-27. Rocketdyne, a company in the United States, made the RS-27 liquid propellant rocket engine in 1974. It was the next step after H-1. The RS-27 was updated by using parts from the old MB-3 and H-1 designs. For the last 20 years, a completely different design has been used. The engine was 3.69 meters long and 1.07 meters wide. It could push with 1023 kN of force in a vacuum and 971 kN at sea level. Even though it had so much thrust, it was replaced by the RS-27A and the RS-56. Number 5. Vulcain 1. The Vulcain 1 rocket engine is one of many that were made in Europe. It was first built in 1988, and its first flight was on June 4, 1996. During its flight, it put out 1,140 kN of force in a vacuum. Still, it was taken out of service on December 18, 2009. Number 4. RD-180. It is a rocket that was made in Russia and was made by NPO Energomash. It was first used on May 24, 2000. Even though it has been replaced by the RD-170, it is still used. It has a thrust of 4.5 mN in a vacuum and 3.83 mN at sea level. The engine is huge and weighs about 5,480 kilograms. Number 3. RS-25. Most people know the Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-25 as the main engine used on the NASA Space Shuttle. Its roots can be found in the United States. Rocketdyne, Pratt & Whitney, and Aerojet Rocketdyne all worked on making it. The first time it flew was on April 12, 1981. Even though it's not in use since STS, it's being tested for SLS right now. It can push with a force of 2.279 mN in a vacuum and 1.86 mN at sea level. It came before the HE-3. Number 2. NK-15. The Kuznetsov Design Bureau built and planned the NK-15 rocket in the late 1960s. In the Soviet Union, it came to life. It was meant for the Soviet N-1 moon rocket, which failed. It could make a force of 1,753 kN in a vacuum and 1,505 kN unevenly. After making this much force, the NK-33 took over. Number 1. Merlin. It is a group of rockets that SpaceX made to go on the Falcon 1, Falcon 9, and Falcon Heavy launch vehicles. It was made in the United States. It is still working and can put out 981 kN of force in a vacuum and 854 kN at sea level. In the gas generator power cycle, RP-1 and liquid oxygen are used as rocket fuel in Merlin engines. So that's it for today. If you like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon for latest updates. Thanks for watching.